Welcome back. Sharon Smith and Kathy Brown are here, and I believe you all want to talk not just about different, well, all that hospice care encompasses.
Correct.
So who would like to start?
Go ahead.
I guess that'll be me.
Okay.
We have both the home hospice program and the hospice house, which is part of our department. That, of course, the hospice house, we do symptom management.
Right.
We do end of life when they can't handle it at home, when it gets to that point, and then respite care at the hospice house, which is a 5-day stay that they can say the family just needs a break.
Okay.
In the home, we do normal visits. Depending upon their needs, we set up a plan of care at admission and adjust that as plan of care goes. So we see the patients in their home and help the caregivers keep them at home as long as possible. Because that's how a lot of people, they don't want to die in the hospital, and they don't want to die in the hospice house. They want to die in their home where they're comfortable, and we try to maintain that dignity as long as we possibly can.
And I should have asked you before I jumped into that. What is your role with hospice?
I'm the patient care coordinator.
Okay.
So
you're directly involved with families.
basically, if you call and you need to talk to somebody, you're 9 times out of 10 going to get me.
Okay.
And then you go through a process of determining what the needs are for that specific
Particular
patient at that time.
Right. When we get the referral from the physician's office, we go out and see the patient and set up a plan of care based on their needs. We may see them daily for 2 weeks until everybody's comfortable with what their role is, or we may see them once a week because we've gotten them so early in their process that they only need weekly visits at that point.
Is that a relief for the families and the patient when that process?
It is. Most of them, especially if we get them and only have them for a short period of time, the families come back and say, I wish we'd have had you earlier.
Right.
Because
I would think that's such a worry and such a traumatic thing that's going on inside their head, that they know that there's an incoming, and they probably don't know what to do in that point.
Well, and we can kind of free them up to be the family member instead of the caregiver sometimes. So, we have the nurses going out, we have aides that can go out and help them with personal care. We have volunteers that go out and sit with them and sometimes read to them, or just sit there as companions while the family goes and takes a nap or goes and does shopping or whatever.
It's certainly a big relief for the family to have that option.
It truly is, because sometimes these people have been up day and night for week on end.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to be, I'm a nurse, and I was looking after my mom for a little while, but, it's hard to be both, and to be the family member and be the caretaker. It's
right.
Just, so
without
that's
a break, too.
Right. Well, I mean.
Yeah, so they really feel like that it's liberating in the fact that they can do the things that they feel like they need to do for their loved one without having to manage all the day-to-day details.
And what is your role?
I am the interim director for home health and hospice.
It's your big wig.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's me. But
And you say interim. Are you actively looking for a new one?
I've been interim for quite some time.
Oh, nope, you're it.
So, that's totally
leave it
up
where
to
it's
the
at, yeah.
hospital and, just along for
Will
the
you
ride.
stay there indefinitely
Yes, yes.
So it's something you love as well.
I love doing hospice care and home health care. And I came from a background of emergency care, so, hospice care is a big difference, but it's something I love just as much as I love the ER. So,
If there happens to be a family watching this and they're not sure if they're to that stage or not, what could you say to help them?
their
make that
best
decision?
thing is to, they can call us. We'll be happy to explain how hospice works and what we can do to help them. But it really comes down to the physician has to give the orders. So if we can talk to them, explain all this, and then we have to suggest that they call their physician, or we can call that physician for them and say, hey, so-and-so has called, and this is what they're asking.
Well,
So
we try to do as much of the legwork for them as possible. They give us as much information as they can, but it comes down to the doctor having to say that in his best estimate, it's 6 months or less. I mean, that's the Medicare guideline, is the 6 months or less. And I mean, doesn't mean they have to, but I mean, the they have to recertify them every 60 days. 90 days, the first 2 certification periods, but they have to say, yes, he is continuing to,
Okay.
to progress down the lines and keep going from there.
Okay.
Now, the community's got behind in building the hospice house.
Yes.
Is that an ongoing?
It is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
They continue to raise money. They are.
And there's a continual need, I would say,
Right.
yeah.
They do pay for the care for patients that do not have insurance, of which we're very lucky to have them to do that. You know, they don't have to do that, but that's something that they choose to do. They are looking at, in the future, expanding the hospice house to where we have more than 4 beds. As our patient population grows, that is something that they are considering. So, you know, it's always in the planning stages, and there's more ways to help. If you want to help with hospice, there's more than just donating money. You can volunteer, you can do.
You're always needing volunteers.
We always need volunteers. We have
And what kind of volunteers do you need? What would they be doing?
We have volunteers that do a range of things. We have volunteers that sew memory bears. And memory bears are family members will bring in a piece of clothing that they have a particular attachment or had that patient wore, and they make bears out of that and give those back to the family members. We have some that come in and help out with office work. We have some that put together and help fold and mail the newsletters. We have people that can actually go sit with patients and relieve those families. You know, so there's a wide range just about, we have volunteer chaplains. So there is a very wide range of things that people can do. Some of them you can volunteer and not have to, outside of the training, not have to leave your home. So,
Okay.
you
We
know.
have some that bring food to the hospice house to provide their crock pots, and I mean, there's always food there.
Okay.
So.
Those volunteers are loved by every family member that comes through there,
There are
because
some good cooks in this community.
oh yes, yes, but that way the families don't have to leave the hospice house and go find food. They have a hot meal there whenever they want it. So there's some that keep the pantry stocked in the hospice house of snack foods and, you know, canned soups, so that they can go do, you know, just grab something and go back to the room. So we have a very wide variety of things that our volunteers do.
Well, it's a wonderful, I mean, the hospice house alone is a wonderful facility.
Oh,
so
I know. But we
we're
couldn't do
very
it without our
fortunate.
volunteers. They're really a great group of people.
Okay. Do you have contact information? Do you have any email or
Yes.
how can, if someone, or
they can
phone?
they can email me at Kathy, Kathy .brown @narmc.com, or they can call our number, which is 870-414-4100.
And you're located
We
where?
are located in the old Boone County Medical Buildings
At
behind the
on-
hospital.
Right, okay.
The hospice house is at 501 East Sherman, and if there's patients, there's somebody there all the time, and people are free to, if they just want to go take a look at it and see it, feel free to go do that. They will be more than happy to show you around.
Right, it's great.
Yes, you know, it is, you know, we had volunteers that before the house even opened made all kinds of beautiful handmade quilts for that every patient uses those.
It's so homey. I mean, they
That's-
feel
that's
almost
something
in-
that-
they don't feel like they're in a medical facility.
Right.
You know, and the families are encouraged to, if they want to spend the night, they're more than welcome to spend the night. There's a huge living room. You know, we've got things for kids to do. So, you know, it's kind of a home away from home
Right.
for our families.
Right.
So they, some have been resistant about going, but once they got there, they thought that it was really a great thing. So
Well, it's probably a hard decision to make.
it
so.
is an extremely hard decision to make.
But the
Yeah.
best thing to do is to have the knowledge and the information to make that informed
Correct.
decision, and the best place to do is just to call you directly
That is
Right.
correct.
and find out what needs to be done.
Right, and planning for those things it's never too early, you know, to start talking those kinds of decisions over with your family, so.
Is there anything that you want to throw out to the community, or have we covered it all? Or?
I think we've covered it all. If you have questions, please feel free to email us or call us, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Well, we're thankful that you all are here.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Up next, we have some more people from North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, Joey Wopling and Francis Johnson, and they're here to talk about paying off a huge debt. Stay with us.